Zaxby's Caribbean Jerk Chicken is just like a vacation in the tropics. Only without the sunburn. Or the dive-bombing seagulls. Or all of that pesky sand.
How'd it get in there?
Well, at least it tastes like the tropics. Enjoy our famous chicken tossed in a tropical blend of spicy habanero, fruity mango, and exotic island spices. The Caribbean Jerk boneless wings and the new filet sandwich meal. 2 more reasons you'll get a kick out of Zaxby's.
From Tally to Cali,
It's time
to wake up.
wake up, wake up. Warchant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
and this is Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's
Now here's Warchant.com's Aslan Hajavandi.
and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's. I'm Aslan Jamandi. He's Corey Clark. We work for Warchant.com. It's the ultimate Seminole sports source. All you got to do is use a promo code, Warchant30. 30 free days of access. You can try it, buy it, love it, live it. You'll enjoy it. Hey, happy 2/20/20, Corey Clark. What a weird date. It's a date for the lovers. You do anything special for the lady?
No, not at all. I'm actually in a different state, so
Okay.
it's hard to do that. I assume you're talking about Stephanie.
Correct. Obviously.
Okay, it's different ports. You know what I mean? But no, nothing for Stephanie.
Is Stephanie the first lady of Wake Up Warchant?
I guess.
Well, let's
yeah,
not get
I
in
would
trouble.
get. Yeah, I can't even really comment on that because Shanna still listens to both. In fact, Shanna had a message for you. That I woke up to on Wednesday morning because she listened to the show.
Okay.
There can't be many ex-wives in the country that listen to their ex-husbands.
It's absurd. Your guys'
Podcast.
relationship makes me sick. I wish one of you just hated the other. It'd be so much more entertaining for all of us.
It's great, man. It's healthy. We
It
still
is.
like each other for
It
the most
is.
part.
You're right. You're right.
But
It really is.
I'm going to read it.
Okay.
I'll read
wow.
it to you.
Okay.
I'm going to read it to you. Shanna's going to get a little love here.
All right.
I think you need to give Aslan some perspective, given he's never had to pay for football tickets to his alma mater. Remember, this is Shanna, who is an alum of Florida State, like you, a proud alum.
Right.
Some of us can barely afford the booster membership and ticket prices, and then to be asked to pay for additional tickets at another location, a game that's not part of your season ticket package. Yeah, a trip to New Orleans is great if you can afford it. Not all of us get our rooms and meals comped. That was the message.
Yeah.
She loves you. You know that. She
Right.
listens to the show, but that's a legitimate take. She also said that she hates that, this seems to be the norm, and then I reminded her that no, it's not the norm anymore. They seem to be going back to home and homes.
Yeah. That's
But-
fair.
Hey, man, tell her. Sure, we get it. We get it. And that's why I'm not one of those sports writers that always takes pictures of half-empty stadiums.
Yeah.
And says, "Hey, why haven't you bought these tickets when I get to go for free?" But I am one of those sports writers in a completely different topic that is actually I'm writing a column/story about. I don't know if you've noticed this year, right? Like at the Florida State basketball games, even when they're sellouts, there's still huge pockets of empty seats in that lower bowl.
I want to
Like
call
rows and rows.
large pockets. I mean, there's a smattering.
So, well, maybe not for sellouts. So for like the Miami game, I froze it like with, I don't know, 3 minutes to go, or 3 minutes into the first half, the Miami game, which was a Saturday nooner. I get it. But there were 150 visible seats on TV going up and down between basket to basket. 150, or in this one freeze frame that I froze it, there were 150 visible seats.
Did you
in
count
62
them?
of them were 150. Just in this one freeze frame photo.
Yeah.
In 62 of them were empty.
Okay.
These are the best seats.
Right.
So that's kind of a story I'm working on. It's been many people have asked me through just bumping into me at bars or at the games or anywhere else, Twitter, emails, message boards, like what's going on? Why is that? Why are they what's going on there? Why do they say it's a sellout when we see these empty seats? So that's kind of the story that I'm writing, is explaining that, how people get those tickets, why they're not really available to the general public, even though there's a large demand for them. And, kind of about the FSU administration notices it. They're not just shrugging their shoulders and counting the money because the check's cleared. They do know that it's a little bit of not a huge problem, but it's a problem. It's an optics problem. And they want to try to figure it out heading into next season. So look for that.
Okay.
At some point.
Noles fan from South Florida had a question. It was, wake up! Welcome back, gentlemen. Missed you two all last week, as did a lot of people. Just goes to show how popular the show has gotten. When you get a simulcast on the ACC network in 5 years, don't forget about all of us who were there from the beginning. Now, for the bee's knees, I went up to Tobacco Road for the FSU Duke game last Monday, and everyone listening, make a bucket list and put that on it. The arena is tiny, looks like a high school gym. Bathrooms are gross, but that place is something special when a game is played there. It's rocking, it's loud. The one thing that's obviously noticeable are the Cameron Crazies. Yes, they're dorks, but they're relentless. My thing is with the Tuck. Now, mind you, we haven't lost there in over a year. Can FSU figure something out and put those students on the floor? Yeah, I know. Big donors usually get those seats, but I'm sure FSU can figure something out. Students have supported the team huge the last several years. It would be nice to reward them and give this program an atmosphere it truly deserves.
I'm all for that, man, and I've been saying it for 10 or 11 years. They used to be behind. They used to be in a section right behind. Back when the media was on, like the sidelines, right. The students were right behind us. The Noles zone, those people, and there were hundreds of them. And then I don't know, about 10 or 11 years ago, they moved them to those. Maybe 10 years ago, they moved them to those seats in the end zone. And I don't know necessarily why they can't move them. I do think something needs to be done. And it's weird to talk about this. What are they, 62-3 in the last 65? So they win at home. It is a loud environment. It can be a really good environment. But yeah, to me, it's just a bummer that so many times the students do an awesome job of showing up, an awesome job for the most part. And then they get relegated to the end zones. Meanwhile, the booster people, I would say 20 to 25% don't show up of those season ticket holders, unless it's a Duke or a Louisville or somebody like that. They're not, I think Notre Dame, I talked to one of the ticket guys. The Notre Dame was that Saturday night game. That was 90% usage in that area, which might have been the high for the season. But North Carolina, there were huge pockets. And then obviously the last three games, there's a Miami home game, Syracuse home game, both at noon. Those are tough. And then, Tuesday night against Pitt wasn't a huge, we knew that wasn't going to be a huge seller. But yeah, I've talked to people about that. That doesn't seem to be like on their not bucket list, but on the top of their list to move the students. I wish they would figure out a way to make them maybe more visible during the course of a game. Like if you watch a Florida State game on TV, you don't know where the students are sitting or if they're there. Yeah. And they are there, and they're a big presence. Mm-hmm. But you don't really feel them on TV. I guess not that it really matters on TV. But yeah, I don't get the impression that that's something they're really bandying about. But they got to figure out something to make those lower. There have been literally, Aslan, I don't know if you remember these, but there have been a couple of games where the upper section has been more full than the lower section. Yeah. And that's just something that you gotta figure out. If it means moving the students, I'm all for it, man. I am all for it. They have earned it. I don't know if the last 10 years was a test to see if they could really get behind and support a basketball program, but ever since Bacon got to Florida State, the Bacon and Beasley year, they were pretty good. And then the Isaac year, they were awesome. And they've been pretty much awesome ever since. The last 3 or 4 years, we sat right in front of them, so we heard them. They're loud, and they're there early, and they're a big deal. And it would be cool if they got 500 of them to be somewhere on the sidelines near the benches, but that apparently isn't going to happen. But either way, figure it out.
Noles fan from South Florida also adds he got his jerk chicken sandwich from Zaxby's on his I-95 car trip somewhere between Georgia and South Carolina. Had to get Zaxby's finally in a whole other state. Zaxby's execs, if you're listening to this right now, wake up! Put one in South Florida.
Booyah. Hey, by the way, he mentioned Duke. It is crazy, man. Like, I think I've told this story to you before. I know I've told it on one of these mini podcasts that I'm on. But me and my dad went to Cameron in 97. We were in there. We had just gone to the Florida State North Carolina football game when it was like number 2 versus number 4 or something. And Florida State beat them. And then 20-3 maybe. And then the next day we went and visited Duke's campus, and we were wandering around, wondering where Cameron Indoor is. And we saw somebody come out of a building, and we said, "Hey, could you tell us where Cameron Indoor is?" And she goes, "I just walked out of it. This is it." That's how unassuming it was. But when you walk in, it is literally like walking into like a high school lobby gym. Like there's a lobby in the gym. It's one floor. you walk up these tiny stairs, this narrow staircase to get to your seats. It just has an incredibly old gym feel. But it's awesome. And I love that they've kept it that way because, man, they could expand. They got more money than anybody knows what to do with. They could expand. They could have fireworks, but they don't. They've kept it really almost the exact the last, 30, 40 years. Yeah. It's cool. You should be there. You've never gone there, have you?
I have not. No. I will. I'll try to meander up there someday. I will. Promise. Yeah, it's always tricky with the seating stuff and the boosters. They pay, and I don't know. Sometimes I think the dollar is probably more than the holler. Put that on a bumper sticker, kids. So, but yeah, I would like to see the students closer there. But to your point, it's not going to happen. So I don't know. Maybe
I didn't say it's not going to happen. I just haven't heard any. It's not really. It doesn't seem like that's on the horizon. Hopefully, at some point, it can get back to where they can figure out a way to get the students closer to the floor. Either way, they're awesome, and they'll certainly be there Monday night when they're playing Louisville. I can promise you that.
They just got to make it cool to sit in the upper sections. Make that elite and luxury and awesome, and then put the boosters up there, and then put the guys and the kids.
Sure. Have all the seat service where you get your beers and everything up in the upper section.
Yeah, I don't want to go.
Sell them like you did the Champions Club, kind of. That's where you want to go.
Exactly.
Do that for the upper section of the Civic Center, and then make the lower bowl general admission and single game purchases, and maybe ticket sales for people that aren't boosters. Because that's the thing, to get access to those tickets in the lower bowl between the baskets, you have to be at least a Warrior member booster, which is the minimum $650 a year up to $1,300 a year. Well, obviously, some of those people are like golden and silver and platinum chiefs. So they give a lot more than $650. But to have access to just get a chance to buy the tickets, you have to give a minimum donation of $650. Yeah, and that's a lot.
I always thought it was like a throw-in, those seats. I thought those were like throw-ins for big boosters.
It's not, and that's kind of what that I touch on that in the column because I've written most of it already. That's a misconception. I thought that too. What it is most people, to get access to tickets to the prime seats at Doak and at the Civic Center, you have to give a minimum booster donation. Mm-hmm. Let's just say $1,000 right now. It's $650, but let's just say I know the average is more than $1,000, but we'll just use $1,000 as a flat rate. I give $1,000 to Seminole Athletics. Mm-hmm. Now I have the access to buy those prime seats, 4 to 6 to 8, however many I want. Not however many I want. It depends on how much I give, but if I'm giving $1,000, I think I have access to maybe 4 football tickets and 6 basketball tickets. You still have to buy the season ticket package of both, but you have that access. It's almost like it's not.
It's like the PSL.
It's kind of like yeah, exactly. And so what their biggest problem is, honestly, not to get too into the weeds in this, but I'm already there.
Yeah, let's not.
Is they do have an option for StubHub, where these people that aren't going can put their tickets on StubHub. It's really easy. They have it right there for them to do it. It's just many of those people don't do it, and then they don't show up. So that's the issue. They just want them to be able to, if they're not going to go, they're certainly not going to say, hey, you can't quit giving us money. But if you're not going to go, maybe find people that will go or try to sell them on StubHub. And that's just not really happening maybe as frequently as they would like. Anyway, next question.
Chaturanga commented, by the way, Chaturanga, that's an actual pose in yoga. I've been trying to figure out what the heck that name looks so familiar, and it is. It's awesome. I like it. It's one of my favorite poses. Thanks for defending Orlando a little, Aslan. By the way, Wake Up Warchant and headlines, there's been a lot of Orlando bashing lately. So, I-4 corridor, we got to stick together, brother. Yeah, I mean, to Shanna's point, I do understand. I'm not trying to be flippant to people, and I hate telling people how to spend their money because I don't like people telling me how to spend my money. It's just I just think about, like, I don't make the booster donation. So many of my friends don't make the booster donation. They don't help their alma mater. So it's like, and it's selfless, selfish. But like with those neutral site games, it's like, well, then you feel a little less dirty maybe. You're like, all right, well, the school's getting paid for this neutral site game, and I can just show up to it and spend $60 on a ticket, and I might feel like I kind of did my part. But I think about a lot of people from out of town. When I was trying to get back here from my trip, I was in New York, and I was on standby the entire time on the way down. And I had 2 shots. I had 2 shots to get on a plane to Charlotte so I could get on a plane to Tallahassee. Meanwhile, I looked at it, I'm like, man, I can't stay here another day. Just get me Get me to Jacksonville, only 2 flights. Get me to Panama City Beach, only 2 flights. I'm like, I don't know, Orlando? There's like 7 flights from JFK Airport to Orlando International. Like 7 different on just American Airlines. So I also think about like the Florida State fans abroad who, it's probably not worth it for them to be a season ticket holder. But hey, man, maybe they can do a vacation with their family. It is exponentially cheaper to get on a plane to Orlando and easier than it is to get one to Tallahassee. So I don't know. I just think this is an opportunity also to, I don't want to say expand the brand or anything, but kind of other different segments of the fan base kind of are catered to in these. So that's kind of like the benefit I'm trying to see in it. But again, I'm probably wrong. Shanna's a lot more practical than I am.
It's all right, man. We'll stay at the Disney Boardwalk, one of those places. We'll go to Islands of Adventure and ride the Hulk and stuff like that. We'll have a cool Friday.
Yeah.
We'll go to a theme park. It shouldn't even be that crowded on a Friday before when school started. So me and you will make a plan. I'm sure Ira has Disney passes. I think he has them for life. So the 3 of us will go and ride a bunch of roller coasters on Friday. I don't mind that.
Bo Noles. By the way, it's a Renegade Express edition of the show. We'll get to as many as we can and then do some on Monday. It is 1:15 in the morning as we record this because I was gallivanting. Bo Noles says he's alive. I was worried it would be a hostile situation. Some hot girl tricks Aslan after he refused to buy her a drink. He ends up strapped in a chair, kidneys missing, and some guys hovering over him with tweezers, slowly pulling out every nose hair while letting out a diabolical laugh. Glad you're okay. Hope you had fun. My question, what are your game day food and drinks of choice? On the perfect football weekend in the fall, what are Aslan and Corey Clark eating, drinking, feasting on for a college football Saturday? Or working.
I feel like, but isn't he kind of asking the wrong people?
Yeah,
we don't get to lounge around and enjoy them like you guys do because we have obviously the toughest jobs in America.
Yeah.
If any of you have a violin next to you right now, please pick it up and start playing because me and Aslan and I, we don't get to lounge around on a Saturday and just watch football all day. Well, except when Florida State plays a Thursday night game or a Friday night or a Monday night game. Then we get that next Saturday off. But yeah, so we're usually in a press box. So I don't know. Clemson has good press box food, don't they? I'm trying to think of other places that have good food. But typically we don't get to do that, right? When it's over, you know me, baby. I'll go grab a Mick Ultra and watch the Pac-12 games.
That's right.
But during the game, it's just a bunch of Diet Coke and water and I don't know, popcorn.
Yeah. Perfect football weekend would be like, Florida State's at Syracuse, and we only send Ira up there for that one, so I get to sit at home and not do anything. I'm not going to lie. Everyone's going to give me hell for it. I don't care. Give me a White Claw. Give me a freaking White Claw, man. If it's 93 degrees in September, give your man a White Claw and a cheeseburger at your tailgate. I'm good. I don't know about that. I don't want a bourbon. I'm sorry, guys. Or I'm not a dude. I'm not a man because I don't want a bourbon. I don't want to drink bourbon when it's 97 degrees out. I don't want to sweat and smell like Maker's Mark. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good with it. I don't want a Red Belly. I'm not a man because I don't want to drink Bud Heavy. I'm not a man. Whatever. Fine. I'm good.
I feel like you're protesting a little too much, man. Nobody's calling you not a man.
Oh, they will.
I just said I was going to drink Ultra.
People are like, you're going to drink a White Claw? It's for girls. And it's delicious. And it's twice the alcohol of a beer. It gets me drunk quicker and it's refreshing on my palate.
Is this supposedly for girls, though? Is it like a Zima?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's better than a Zima. I had a Zima, unfortunately. You guys can give me hell for that. I'll wear that one. That was embarrassing.
Oh, I would drink a Zima all day.
They're just so
Mike's Hard Lemonade, haven't had one of those. But I'll tell you what, you brought up the cheeseburger. Yeah, the grill is the way to go. But like a bratwurst or a kielbasa, like a big sausage in a hot dog bun, in a beer, that's the way you watch college football.
Okay. I like brisket too. I can't eat pork, so I can't usually. I don't dabble with the sausage, hot dog, bratwurst game unless I've brought my own all beef Franks. So it's always risky. But yeah, beef brisket,
understood.
Brisket on a bun or something, or a cheeseburger, and then give me a White Claw. And if it's like 76 degrees out, give me Coors Light in a can. I'll take a silver bullet in a can. I can do that.
Okay, all right.
Do that.
I hope everyone's taking notes.
Yeah. Running Noel says, welcome back to me. She's looking forward to hearing tales of my trip to Bali. We missed you. I don't. This we is a very small we.
That's not true.
Let's go to our friend from Poland. He's not really from Poland.
Hey, wait. Are you not going to tell us that just one tale from Bali?
There's just so many. I would tell people stay in Ulu.
Tinder. Is there Tinder?
There is Tinder there, and there's the Russian women love your boy. The Russian women love your boy, and I love them. Russian women are gorgeous, man. They're like,
oh yeah.
They got like some exoticness to them, but they also have like a little bit of the white girl flair to them. It's just it's the best of both worlds. It's really good. It's really good.
All right, man.
Let's see here. It was beautiful. It was awesome. It really was. My whole thing was we were kind of playing initially to stay out there for 10 days, and I was like, that's a little much because I didn't want to take that much time off. I didn't want to spend that much money, and I know who I am. I'd probably get grumpy from not sleeping well and getting drunk all the time. And I definitely had it was sorrowful on the bus ride back to the bus ride on the airport on the way out. I was like, man, I really wish we were staying a few more days. But I'm glad it went out that way. I'm glad I left with good memories, and I wish I could stay longer as opposed to get me the hell out of here already. But yeah, I mean, the beaches were beautiful. We freaking hiked the volcano. The volcano, I mean, there's not much of a story to it, but it's I thought, it was a big Instagram thing that everybody does. So I'm like, oh, it'll be a piece of cake. Wrong. I mean, literal 3-hour hike at the crack of dawn. Well, even before that, it was 2 o'clock in the morning. The whole point was to get to the top of the volcano to see the sunrise, which we did, and it was gorgeous. But man, it was an absolute treacherous hike. And then on the way down, it was even worse. But it was worth it. It was breathtaking up there. And I'm not one of those guys. I'm like, man, the splendor and beauty of the world, man. Can you believe all of this? Can you believe all this, man, on this big blue ball we're spinning on? But it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
So you went to the top of a volcano?
Went to the top of a volcano. Went to monkey forest jungle. Went to the beaches. Yeah, man, that island has got everything. It's pretty incredible.
Did you throw a virgin in?
What?
Aren't you supposed to do that when you get to the top? You're supposed to sacrifice something, I thought.
I don't. Well, all of our Serbian friends were smoking cigarettes, so I don't know. Maybe they sacrificed their lung to the gods.
Oh, fair enough. All right, that's cool.
Yeah.
But you'd recommend it. You'd recommend Bali as a trip.
Yeah, I would. I'll say the flight back was terrible, though, from Hong Kong. This is another thing, too. This trip was weird because I think so much of going on vacation is the anticipation of it all. It's oh, man, 6 days, 5 days, 4 days, can't wait. But the whole time, I'm just waiting for it to get canceled because of the coronavirus stuff. I'm like, it's not going to work out. And then on the actual day of my flight leaving Tallahassee, my flight here got canceled. It got delayed 3 times before it actually got canceled. I was supposed to get to New York at 4 p.m., to JFK, catch a subway, meet up with my buddy, get some drinks, get some dinner, then go to Newark to fly out. And then they had to actually reroute me to Newark. Our flight left at 1 a.m. I got the last flight out of Charlotte to JFK. I got to JFK at 11:30. And the whole time I'm thinking, the whole day, I'm like, I'm not going to make it in time. I'm like, because I hear about you got to get there 3 hours before an international flight. I'm like, and I'm texting my buddy. I'm like, dude, I'm probably going to miss the flight. I'm like, I'll have to catch the flight out tomorrow. And then he's like, well, you can stay at my place. I'll put your name on the list or whatever. So I couldn't look forward to the trip. And then the day the trip finally comes, then it's you're not even going to be able to do this now. So that was kind of a weird sort of emotional setup. But then it was great. Like I said, I watched good movies on the way out there. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, caught Parasite on the way back. And I would recommend it. I'd probably say maybe fly Emirates, and then you go from JFK to Abu Dhabi, and then from Abu Dhabi to Bali. So it's 10 hours and then another 10 hours. 15 hours is too much, man. It's just too much. Too damn much.
Yeah, I can't imagine being on a plane for 15 hours. That's incredible.
All right, so Mad AMCZ says Corey and Ira did a great job on the show. Look for a new job. It's Chauffel time from now on. I was just joking. He said it was a great job. Not the same without me. I appreciate that.
Right.
They were commenting live on women's softball, which was riveting. Corey played the role as host, held it together pretty well. Anyhow, I'm definitely not upset about playing in New Orleans. I'm a Tulane graduate. I went to FSU Law, so I will be there. Speaking of New Orleans, which steakhouse did you go to? Any restaurants blow you away? You asked the TC for recommendations. We ended up going to Crescent City Steakhouse, which is a little more rustic. I think it's in Carrollton or Uptown. Actually, I don't know if it's in Uptown. But it's somewhere in the. It's not in the Court or anything. I thought it was pretty good, but it wasn't like that fancy white tablecloth type of steakhouse.
Right.
And for me, I'm Central Business District, Ruby Slipper Cafe brunch. Just go there. And they have seasonal French toast, and it was sweet potato cheesecake stuffed French toast. And I don't like sweet potatoes at all, and it was delicious. So it was fantastic.
Stephanie and I went to a place. It's like, I know it was an Emerald restaurant, which is a cliche, I know, in New Orleans, but it was this newest one. And it kind of had this weird, not a weird, but like a modern type vibe. And it wasn't like a real, I mean, it was really, really good, but it wasn't like a button up, got to wear a suit to eat there. I can't remember the name of it, and I don't know where it was, but it's an Emerald restaurant. It's his newest one there, and it was awesome. And then I always go to Mother's. Even if I've just eaten. I actually did that the last time we were there. We just had a really good brunch, but we walked by Mother's, and there was no line. And I'm like, man, I'm just going to go in, and I'm just going to buy a cup of gumbo and a cup of jambalaya and just eat a couple bites of each. And that's what I did because I'm an adult. I get to make the rules.
I would say go to Doris's Metropolitan Steakhouse. That's the one I would have gone to had my brother and his friends not been so resistant to dressing up. They're 40 years old, man. Put on a jacket. Let's go eat a proper dinner. But they're like, I'm not putting on a blazer. It's ridiculous. So that's what we did. All right, Maxwell Gibbs. Wow, a week without Wake Up really got me loving another podcast more. 1-star review for Aslan.
Oh,
ouch.
That hurts.
Anyway, do you think we'll ever know why Devin Vassell sat out against Syracuse? Speaking of Syracuse, is Jim Boeheim the Paul Johnson of college basketball with that 2-3 zone? My God, Jim, it's not 1950 anymore.
Yeah, no, Tony Bennett is the Paul Johnson of college basketball. Boeheim can still play games where they, that game was like 80-77. It was still a fun game because he usually has one or two guys that can really score, and their zone isn't very good anymore, so you can score on them. And as far as Vassell goes, no, man. Leonard will. I might find out, just somebody might tell me 2 months, 6 months, a year from now, but like off the record, I can't share that publicly. But no, Leonard would never announce. He never has. I've been covering them now for a dozen years. They don't, and it happens once a year. It's seemingly Terrence Mann. It happened to Brian Angola, Chris Singleton, on and on. It's happened. Xavier Rattan-Mays. It's basically just look at it as a violation of team rules, and you'll never know exactly why it was. And he doesn't want you to. He said as much on Monday. He's like, when you spank he wasn't talking to me. He's like, when you spank to another reporter, he's like, when you spank your kids, do you go tell your neighbor about it? No. And,
good metaphor.
So, yeah.
Good metaphor, Corey. Good metaphor.
Yeah. And I think I spanked Brady once. I was talking about this with Ira because we were walking out of after that interview, and I was like, I think I spanked Brady once, and it was because he literally in a parking lot, and he was like 7 or 8. It wasn't like he was 3. He saw friends parking a car pull up, and he ran to the car without looking, and a truck had to slam on its brakes or it would have run over him.
Ooh.
And he was like 8.
Jeez.
He wasn't 4, so I pulled him, and I still don't think I did it then. I just screamed at him. Shanna might have.
Yeah.
But yeah. So
Draconian
either way,
Shanna.
I guess I just disproved Leonard's point because I just told a bunch of podcast listeners about it. So Leonard, if I'm going to tell podcast listeners why I spanked Brady, I feel like you should tell people why you sat Devin for a game.
Oh, man, I kind of want to get political here, but I can't. It's Wake Up Warchant.
Yeah, don't do that.
NYC_Noel_2. Wake up! Aslan, hope the only Corona you caught was the kind that comes in a bottle with a lime at the top. I do put lime in my Corona as well. If you guys got a problem with that, tweet at me at Aslan Hodges. Corey Clark did a fine job with Ira, but the wake-up intro left a little to be desired. I feel a little worried that our basketball team is not putting opponents away not putting opponents away early in the game. I realize there are extenuating circumstances like Devin missing the Cuse game, but it seems to me that letting a low seed hang around in a tournament game makes you especially susceptible to a hot hand stealing your thunder in the first 2 rounds. Do you think this is a valid concern, or will we see Hamilton tighten the screws and start to separate from inferior opponents earlier in games as March Madness approaches? Let me take this one real quick, Corey. I feel like Ira mischaracterized something that I said on the show when you guys did the podcast about. He said something about that I said that this team needs to put it all together. Like the team hadn't put a full performance for 40 minutes together in a game. And he's like, this is not the way basketball works. Like there's always ebbs and flows and there's always going to be things. And I don't think I ever said that. I think the argument that you and I had, not even an argument, was just that I thought all the different ways that this team has been winning were beneficial. And you're like, I don't really know what you do in January is really going to help you in the middle of March. But my whole thing is just you want to be put in these circumstances that put strain on you so that you're ready in March when it's the most stressful time. You mentioned something about you want to see this team start blowing the doors off of other opponents. And I was like, I don't think that's a tough bar to set because it's the ACC. Now, mind you, there's only 3 or 4 teams ranked, and they're all kind of clustered at the top. So I don't know why Ira threw me under the bus like that. I don't appreciate that, Ira. But
sorry, I wasn't listening when he was talking, so I don't really remember that conversation. Yeah. But
it'd be great if they put their foot on people's throats and kept it there for 40 minutes, but that doesn't happen.
But yeah, just look around too. That's especially the rest of the season. It's going to be really hard. I mean, they're at NC State, which just bombarded Duke at home. That's a tough game. They come home and play Louisville 2 days later. Well, you're not blowing either one of those teams out. And then you're on the road at Clemson, and then you're on the road at Notre Dame. So those aren't susceptible to blowouts. You'll be lucky, I think, to go 2-2 in that stretch. That's a really difficult stretch. My point with the whole what it matters in January, it's just I think this team has proven that it can win multiple ways. It can win without Devin. It can win, obviously, a lot with Devin. It can win with Patrick Williams not playing well or not playing. It can win with Patrick Williams being the best player on the floor. It can win with defense. It can win with shooting. There's a lot of ways it can win, which is good, but still, it's such a crapshoot. I just don't. It's such a unique way it's such a unique postseason, and you look at somebody like Duke last year. So Duke beat Florida State without Zion in the second half, a very, very good Florida State team. They beat Florida State on its home court at the buzzer. Then they get into the tournament. They won some close games. They beat Florida. They barely beat North Carolina in the semifinals of the ACC tournament. Another great game. They made the plays late when it mattered. They made the plays late when it mattered against Florida State in the championship game. You think, okay, they're battle tested. They've shown they can win really close games. They've also shown they can blow the doors off teams. They've got the best player in the country, 2 of the best players in the country. They should be a lock for the Final Four. Well, okay, they come within an inch of losing to Central Florida in the second round. Yeah. Then I think they go to overtime against Virginia Tech in the Sweet 16, and then it's they're proving your point, Corey. They're winning the close games, they've proven they can, and then they go and lose to Michigan State in the Elite Eight. It's such a unique sport where what if you go 1 for 17 from 3 with good looks? You're not going to win. So either way, I just think what they've done through the first 26 games is just incredible. There is no way. And so I think again we start, and that's the deal that happens when you become a program like this. You start kind of devaluing the regular season a little bit, and I'm guilty of it too. You start thinking, okay, can this team make some noise in March? Well, they have two NBA players and Trent Forrest and MJ Walker. Yeah, they got a chance to make some noise in March. But let's appreciate the 26 games, the first 26 games. After losing everything they lost, all those not awesome. A couple of them were very, very, very good college basketball players. All of them were good basketball players. You lost half your roster. And then you come back and you're 22-4. In 12-3, you're essentially tied for first place in the ACC right now. Just really, really remarkable. And I get it. These slow starts, if you give a team, and it really only comes into play in the first round, if you're a 3 versus a 14. If you give a 14 some life, some hope, and you're only up, say, 4 at halftime, or you're down 4 at halftime, and they're up 11-2 because Florida State seemingly gets down by 6 or 8 points to start every game, and they have some life and they have some belief and some confidence. Yeah, man, you can lose. It's not ideal. It's a valid concern, but who's to say Florida State doesn't win their first game by 40? I mean, you just don't know. Last year against Vermont, they started off very slow, and Vermont was hitting everything. And they still won by whatever they won by, like 11, and then beat Murray State by 100. So I know I didn't answer the question. It is a valid concern, I think. But I just, again, the best run Florida State's had in the last 25 years in the NCAA tournament came from a team that barely got into the tournament. They were a 9 seed. It's just hard to take what happens in the regular season and project it out into March. But it's good to know it's there if they get down. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Hey, folks, a reminder next week, or not really a reminder, telling you for the first time, Ira is doing some sit-down interviews with assistant coaches on Mike Norvell's staff. I was there with him yesterday. I'll be with him later today on another one. We'll start rolling these out next week. So you people want interviews, you shall have. Also, next Wednesday, February 26th, Fishweir Brewing Company, Jacksonville, Florida at 1183 Edgewood Avenue South. The Warchant Recruiting Tour is going to make an annual stopover in Jacksonville. Mike Langston, Gene Williams, they'll be there. The doors open at 6. Program starts at 7. Drink specials will be available. Jacksonville Seminole Club, they're one of the biggest, best out there, so I'm sure it's going to be a top-notch event. So check it out. February 26th. I can't pronounce the 6th. Fishweir Brewing. So we didn't get invited, Corey, but it's fine. It's fine. We'll be fine.
That's fine. That's fine. I'm not a big brewery guy, obviously.
Yeah.
I just love, you know me, I love my Ultra. You love your White Claw.
Get it.
And we're happy.
No laws when you're drinking claws. Old Dads and Noel, wake up! If either of you can answer this, I would be appreciative. When FSU's on defense, what is a strategy for our center chasing the opposing center out of the top of the key? Oh, geez. To me, it either leaves the middle open or we seem to get a reach in or a bump. It's not like we faced Dirk Nowitzki. I've seen it for years, never understood it, and it honestly drives me crazy. So why do we do it? And I would like to offer some goofball trivia today. The college football playoffs are still relatively new. With that said, name the coach who replaced both coaches in the first ever game. Winning answer gets an attaboy. Love the show. That's a lot. That's a lot of meat on the bone right there. I don't know. Are you Naismith? Are you our Dean Smith? I'm
trying to think of the trivia question. If he's talking about the first college football playoff game,
right? Well,
that was FSU versus Oregon.
Yeah.
So that's crazy. It was Willie Taggart.
Oh.
For both.
Oh, look at that.
Well, that's pretty neat. That is goofball. That's kind of cool. It just dawned on me. Yeah, Willie Taggart replaced. What was that guy's name? Helfrich.
Mark Helfrich.
And then obviously you replaced Jimbo. So when it comes to the center goes out almost always to set a screen for the point guard. In their whole purpose
on defense. You're talking about on defense.
On defense. Okay. What I'm saying is the opposing center.
Okay, gotcha.
He goes up to the top of the key to set a screen for the point guard, hoping that Florida State's center will come up with him. He will go around he'll go over the screen, and then they switch. So then now Trent Forrest is on the 5 on the center, and Osborne, whoever's playing the 5, Osborne, Patrick Williams, Balsa, Dom, they're out there with the point guard. You can't, in this day and age, you can't let that center just go out there and screen Trent Forrest, because then that guard is going to go around the center and be free to either shoot a wide open 3, which in 2020, when you give most of these guards wide open 3s, that's 3 points, or he's going to get in the lane easier. And I see what you're saying. It spreads it out. It spreads Florida State out, and that's what they're susceptible to a lot. They do switch everything. And a lot of times, you're getting your center caught on their point guard. But to their credit, Balsa and Dom's credit, they do a really good job, or they try really hard, and they do a pretty good job of moving their feet and trying to stay in front. But that's why you have to do it. You can't let the center – you can't just hang in the lane and let the center and the point guard manipulate Trent Forrest to where the point guard is going to get a wide open shot or a wide open drive to the basket. But it is why Florida State will not occasionally, a good bit, give up some wide open 3s, is because the center is guarding the point guard. Well, sometimes that's hard to do. the point guard gets by the center. So then say Patrick Williams is guarding the kid on the wing. Well, he has to go crash in to make sure the kid doesn't get a layup. And when he crashes in, he's leaving his man in the corner, and that gives you an open three. But it's hard to complain really with what Florida – I get it, but it's hard to complain with the way Florida State plays defense. They're one of the top, 40 or 50 in the country out of 300 and something. And they're one of the best in the nation at creating turnovers and steals.
Look at that.
But they are susceptible to some things. All defenses are susceptible to some things besides Virginia's, I guess.
Nole Fan 82. Best 3 coaches on campus, regardless of sport. My picks, Semrau, Krikorian number 2, Alameda number 3, Hamilton, honorable mention. Norvell makes the cut within 3 years. What do you say?
So I don't know that people know this. I did not know this, and I'm kind of embarrassed by it. The Florida State women's tennis team is number 2 in the country.
Oh, all right.
Out of nowhere, man. Out of nowhere. Like, I've been here now for 12 years. When I was at the Democrat, obviously, Warchant's not necessarily a tennis site. Mm-hmm. But when I was at the Democrat, I would cover them a good bit. And they were always, top 20-ish, top 18-ish. And then they had a couple down years. But Jennifer Hyde, who is a Nole, she played tennis here. This is where she played, and now she's been the coach for a good long while now. She's got her team number 2 in the country too. As far as this question, man, I just go. I got to go with the folks that have won the championships. Mm-hmm. So Krikorian to me is number 1.
Agreed.
Lonnie's number 2.
Agreed.
And then I guess Bremen's won 3 of them at track, and they're back to being a top 5, top 10 program again. So Krikorian to me is number 1.
I agree. I would. I'm going to put Meat at 3.
Whoa! What?
Meat at 3. Yeah. I mean, how many
thing
years
to
has
do.
he been here? I mean, how many times has he gotten to the Final Four or to the Elite 8 of his sport? And
well, yeah, but not as the head coach.
Well, he was largely responsible the last 10 years. I mean, come on.
Well, I don't know about to say that. He had a big, huge hand in it, but still, if we're just going by what they've done as head coaches, well, he does have a 750 winning percentage in his career. That's pretty good, and he hadn't lost since his very first game of his career.
I think I'm gonna probably get yelled at from Meat in post conference or news conferences post game, but it's okay. I think he and I are too alike that we're not going to get along, but I like him. I like how fiery and ornery and upset he gets. I think it's cool. I miss it. I think it's good.
It's definitely different. Yeah. It's a whole different ball game, these baseball press conferences now.
Yeah. Candy for Noles. Welcome back. Hope you had a great trip. Tell us, at what point in Bali was it where you completely forgot about everything FSU related and didn't worry about whether or not we were still undefeated at home or how opening weekend went? That's a good question. By the way, Candy for Noles is I'm a fan. Big fan of Candy for Noles because there's actually – I checked the site a few times. I checked Twitter a bunch. I checked the site a few times, and I did see a thread on the Tribal Council that somebody was asking, what happened to the show? What's going on? Has it been discontinued? And it's man, I probably didn't do a good job of tweeting out, yo, we're going on vacation. We'll be back in a week. But it's man, we talked about it for a month. It was hey, I'm going to be going to Bali. So I figured, people maybe put 2 and 2 together. But a couple people posted some stuff that I thought was a little bit out of line. Our guy Maxwell Gibbs, no offense, Gibby. He posted something about I can't believe he was allowed to go on vacation with all this content going on. And it's dude, really? Come on, man. And then Gene, bless his heart, he really didn't have to, but Gene came in there and kind of defended my honor. Hey, I got to let my guys take vacation. It's that at the end of the day, I get it. We're supposed to cover Florida State 24/7 or rather, we should cover Florida State every day of the week, every hour of the day. And I think we do. We kind of, rotate. All hands are on deck at some point. But, yeah, you're never going to – I mean, even in July. I don't know, maybe July is the one time you can get away with it. But, man, my buddies are going to Bali. Sorry. I missed the opening weekend of baseball. I missed a basketball game. My bad. I missed Tour of Duty. I didn't know. They announced it until, 2 weeks before I'm going on the trip. And, so I was I saw that and I got upset and I'm dude, I'm here with my friends and I'm getting upset about this. So And then Candy for Noles went in the thread and she was like, hey, like, chill out. The guy's on vacation with his friends. Like, let him enjoy it. I'm like, you know what? Thank you. Turned my phone off, ordered a pina colada. True story.
You ordered a White Claw.
No, there's no White Claw out there. That was the problem.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, so thank you, Candy for Noles. Yeah, that was probably day 3. I think it was day 3 at the Cliff House Bar, Uluwatu. Google it. It's gorgeous.
Next time we take a week off, I think I'll do like a 10-minute solo.
Okay. And
just say, hey, Aslan's out of the country, so this is Corey just talking for 10 minutes about whatever, and just reminding people. Maybe I'll do it with Brady, and just remind people that. Were you here, by the way, when he took over my Twitter?
I wasn't. Somebody asked the question, so let's just go ahead and get that one out the way. I did see the tweet. I saw Cameron try to diminish the show and say that the show that Brady was talking about obviously was headlines. I will beg to differ. But yeah, so what happened? It was funny. It was cute, I thought.
Yeah. So the people that don't know, he tweeted. I was watching something. It was a Sunday night, and I was watching basketball or something. I don't know. He was upstairs and like on Xbox or something. And then all of a sudden, I see notifications, and occasionally I get a few notifications, but I just clicked on it, and I don't do that all the time. I clicked on it, and I was flooded with them, and I'm like, well, what could this be? I haven't tweeted all day, and then I saw what everybody was tweeting at, which was his tweet, where he had commandeered my Twitter and said, hey guys, whatever it was, hey guys, this is Brady. If you listen to my dad's podcast, you know who I am. Go Noles. And then I thought he had done it on my phone, but I'd actually left my computer open and he had done it on my computer.
Rookie
mistake. I still haven't changed my passcode on my phone. It's still 1 2 3 4 5 6. But he got really excited. He kept every 30 minutes or so asking me how many likes it got, and then I didn't want to tell him because it's true that it's gotten the most likes of anything I've tweeted this year.
Yeah,
it was like over 600.
I liked it. I did.
Yeah, a lot of people did. Got a lot of likes, a lot of retweets. So he was really fired up about that. So I'm worried that he's going to try to do it again. I'm not going to let him. And I did. I was like, dude, you can't. I was like, I get it. You didn't do anything wrong. I mean, you did do something wrong, but you weren't, vulgar, or say anything awful. But let's not do that again. So I don't know if he got the message though. But that's when I'll spank him again.
Also, Brady, it's is IT''S. It is.
I blame that on his mom.
Yeah, come on, Shannon.
Obviously, I know that. Come on. I don't know what's going on when he's at her house, but apparently they don't teach contractions over there at that house.
I'm kidding.
But they do it in this one. But what I was going to say is, I'll do a maybe the next time you're out of town, Brady and I'll do like a 12 or 15-minute podcast.
Do it
just to let people know that this is what's happening. The show isn't off the air. It's not been pulled. It's just Aslan's out of town drinking pina coladas. But I was going to say, people complaining that it's not there is a really good thing. Yeah. It's like a part of their lives. It's invaluable. It's needed. Yeah. And that's good. That warms the cockles a little bit. That people were upset that it wasn't and wondering if it had been pulled.
Yeah, that was good. It was good.
It's not like we were gone for 4 weeks either.
Yeah, my boss stuck up for me. Candy for Noles stuck up for me. I'm like, that's good. All right. On to the next thing, so it was good. I appreciate it. Let's get maybe 2 more in, and then we'll get to the rest of these on Monday, I promise. Again, it's my bad. We recorded this way too late.
Way too late.
It's at 1:50 in the morning right now. Bama Knoll 457, wake up, welcome back. Corey, have to disagree with you regarding raspberries. I recently discovered how tasty ripe raspberries are. By the way, the raspberry flavor of White Claw might be my favorite. I now have started buying them regularly in the grocery store, but I've learned you have to eat them within a day or two or they start to get mushy. You need to give them a try.
What kind of food is that?
A fresh fruit, a fresh food. That's how food really should be. Day or two.
A day? You have to eat a whole container within a day or they start to go bad like soggy cereal?
Well, fresh food. Again, you want to spray them with pesticides and stuff, you can. Somebody was also offended by this, though, Corey. Somebody was like, I can't believe Corey stuck up for cantaloupe. And some guy did like an informal office poll and was like, nobody prefers cantaloupe to raspberries.
No, I think I misspoke there because I don't eat either. I don't think I've had more than 2 bites of cantaloupe in my life because I got too much life to live.
Right.
to bother with flipping cantaloupe.
Waste calories on that nonsense.
My point was I understand that like people eat that as breakfast.
Yeah.
Like they'll have a slice of cantaloupe with some sugar. I don't know, but I don't imagine there's a lot of people eating bowls of raspberries for breakfast. But cantaloupe at least I think is somewhat of a breakfast food where people eat a slice of cantaloupe before they go on their 6-mile runs. At least that's what I did back in high school. But yeah, so I guess I stand corrected on raspberries.
Mm-hmm.
I've just you just don't see adults eating raspberries a lot.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, you know what I could use right now is about 7 or 8 raspberries. Anyway, but I guess if I dipped them in whipped cream, I could eat them. I'd be fine. But I guess that goes for anything.
I like tart. I like tart fruit. Like I prefer a Granny Smith apple to Red Delicious. So
absolutely.
I like tart, so I'm cool with raspberries. I like them.
You're cool with them. Have you ever bought them?
No. My mom does though. It's like whenever I go home, she always like makes me like a berry bowl, like blueberries, strawberries.
Mom.
She's best. She's the best. Okay, Bamanol 457's question: your thoughts on the blue basketball uniforms? I know they honor Native Americans, but I personally despise them. Caught my wife accidentally pulling for Pitt because she thought they were FSU since we were wearing blue. Can't we come up with a uniform in our own colors that honors Native Americans? No, that's apparently that's the color they want. I like it. I think it's nice.
Do it at least once a year, right?
Yeah.
I don't know the history of the blue and what it symbolizes, but it does symbolize something, and I hate to be ignorant about it, but right now I am. I can tell you all about Osceola.
There you go.
But anyway, I'm ignorant about the uniforms and why they're blue. I think, it's basketball. They wear like black, they wear white, they wear garnet, they wear gold. They have a million different color combinations for basketball. I thought it was okay. It was a little odd to see black or blue and yellow on the court together like that. That was a little bizarre, but hey, they're 2-0 in them this year.
The color turquoise represents, quote, harmony, friendship. Yeah. It represents, quote, harmony, friendship, and fellowship in Native American culture. So, yeah, man, just we're not the only team that does this. Apparently, Gonzaga did it a few years ago. Arizona or San Diego State, I think, has also done it. It's like, yeah, man, it's like if somebody wants to represent America and they get out the stars and the stripes, but they make the stars and the stripes different colors, you'd be
breast cancer.
Yeah.
And they wear pink. You'll see that a lot in women's basketball. Yeah. I don't know why I said blue. That was ignorant. I mean, it is turquoise. But yeah, they do it at least once or twice a year to pay homage, and that's what Florida State has always done. They try their best to extend that hand to the Native American culture and obviously to the Seminole tribe specifically, and that's a relationship they always want to honor. So they do their part. And that's their way of doing their part on the basketball court, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. NYC Nole, wake up! This question is for Corey.
This last one.
2 more because this one's really not a question.
Well, you said that 4 ago. Man, it's 2:00 in the morning.
It's not. Let's see. We're at the 53-minute mark. Let's just stay within under an hour. So we got 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I'm going to read this one. It's not even a question. It kind of is though. Corey, if Aslan doesn't return, can I take the empty chair? Thank you. Obviously not.
No,
I'm back.
He is back, so that dream has died. No, it'd first be Brady, and then if Brady can't do it because he's got practice or school,
maybe Shanna, maybe you, Shannon, Stephanie should all do one, like Seminole headlines, but with more estrogen.
I can't even imagine what that would be like. They like each other, they get along, but how? It's not a bad idea.
I think it's great.
I would they could share like war stories.
Yep.
I guess. Yep. Corey stories.
Corey stories.
But yeah, I think what would happen is Shanna would just kind of like, Stephanie, you just don't know yet. It'd be that kind of vibe because me and Stephanie have been together now for 3 years, going on 3 years.
There we go. Attaboy.
But with Shanna, it was a little bit longer, so I think Shanna would be like, oh, you just don't know. You can think he's going to remember your birthday or the gift's going to matter. That'll eventually come. but it might not. But hey, I did something sweet on Valentine's Day for Stephanie. I went and took her flowers.
Attaboy. There you go. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
They were from Walgreens.
Okay. You didn't have to mention that.
And they were I guess, they're not a sponsor. They were from a local pharmacy / drugstore. And it was like 3:30 p.m. on Valentine's Day. So you can imagine the selection that was left. And I didn't realize it at the time, but of one of the I got her a single red rose in one little cellophane wrapping.
Gotcha.
And then the other one was 4 white roses. But I didn't realize that in the 4 white roses, one of the petals had actually fallen off already. So that's what I handed her, along with an Uber gift card.
That's love, everybody.
Hey, man,
I'm single.
It's the thought that
I'm
matters.
single somehow. Corey Clark is in love. 3 years.
Yeah, I got 2 people.
3 years.
Two lovely women listening to my podcasts.
Yeah.
And Aslan and single.
Yeah. Last one. Also, by the way, we should have mentioned this at the top of the show. AJ Lytton was confirmed by Ira, has been dismissed from the football program, cornerback from, I think, Maryland, right? So that's kind of a bummer. We don't know the details on it. Ira posted a little insight that he had on it. It's on the Tribal Council. You can check it out. Did feel like he was, at least he seemed like he had the measurables to make an impact maybe at cornerback, but, they'll trudge on without him. So this question from Jolin Cones is also football related. He welcomes me back to the States, hopes that my vacation was great.
Can I touch on that just real quick?
Absolutely. But you want to get out of here in time. See, Corey, we could have got out of here in time, but you had to interject.
I know. I just wanted to touch on something real quick. So Corey Durden tweeted about that.
Oh, okay.
About AJ. I don't know if it's still up there. He tweeted at it. He tweeted about it like 8:30 on Wednesday night. I don't know if he deleted it or not, but he tweeted out, the AJ and then the poop emoji.
Oh.
Unfair, no cap, and I won't respect it.
Oh.
And again, man, and I have no idea what happened.
It's not
no
up
idea
there anymore, by the way.
Do what?
It's not up anymore. He took it down, which he does way too much, man. He does way too much.
Okay, well then I won't even address it after this because he took it down, which good for him. I'm glad he did it. But the mindset to tweet that out, that's the kind of stuff you're talking about with the culture. And I like Corey Durden, and he's one of the best players on the football team. But come on, man. Like that's the kind of stuff that you just want to see a team rise above a little bit. And maybe not every thought that's in your head has to be publicized. That's all. But I know that's his boy. It's his teammate. It's a guy he's practiced with for 3 years. In his mind, it might really be unfair. But that's not a great look with the new coaching staff trying to instill discipline in a team that is 18-20 in its last 38 games. Anyway, last question.
Next season, we're going to have 7 running backs, not including walk-ons. Is that even true?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Well, if Grant and Laybourne, which I think they were both out there at the Tour of Duty. I know Laybourne was. Yeah. Right? Didn't they sign 4?
Well, Corbin will transfer in. Wren kid, I think, is technically going to be a running back. LaDamian Webb's a running back. That's 5. I guess Deontay Sheffield, 6.
Toafili.
There you go. Toafili. Trayshawn Ward, I think, is still with the program, obviously. Good grief. Okay, so which one of them do you think transfers first? Oh, geez. I hope we can implement
that game.
Yeah, I hope we can implement a 2-back system for some nice triple options or pistol formations. He also asked you, Corey, about the Brady tweet. He was the guy that asked about the Brady tweet, so we got that out of the way. Who's going to transfer first? I don't think we can play that game. That's frowned upon in circles. Maybe if we were out in public, I would tell you about it, but I can't put it on the podcast. I don't know. I mean, would it really even matter?
Yeah, I have no idea. I couldn't even take an educated guess. I do think that it will be a lot different than what we've seen the last couple of years. It is not going to be a one-person show. I think they plan on. I think 3 guys will probably get 100 carries.
Okay,
give or take. Somewhere in that neighborhood. I think that's what they'd like at least. Obviously, they'll have one guy that's the starter, But I do think they want to give, they're going to have they plan on playing a lot of dudes, and they plan on playing a lot of dudes and getting them in space. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what they really like the new guys. I guess all coaches say that when they sign these kids, but they really do like them. And I'm interested to see Kalen, man, if he can be fully healthy. I think that kid I think he's got some special sauce in him. If he can stay fully healthy and be a feature back, I think he could be a really good football player for this team.
I think we keep forgetting, man. Like the guy, I know it was early in the season, but it was a pretty bad knee injury. I think maybe if you get air casted off, non-contact, I know in this day and age everybody comes back from injuries a lot quicker. It's not the death sentence it used to be, but like I still think that whatever we saw from him in that spring game in 2018, I think still can exist, and I think obviously, being 2 years now maybe removed from it, we'll probably get a better picture of what he's capable of. I'm bullish on him. I don't last year or whatever. I'm not judging him on that. That was a tough injury to come back from, and obviously a tough
I thought
situation.
He got slowed down by something else last year. Am I not remembering that correctly?
Yeah, I think he was.
Or was it just the knee? Still?
He was banged up. I'm sure that knee.
Another one.
The knee, I'm sure, also factored into it. I think it might have been calf. I'm sure he probably compensating. I don't know. I shouldn't play internet doctor, but anyhow, I don't know if they'll do triple option stuff. I don't know if it'll get that crazy and exotic, but I think to Corey's point, you'll probably see more cycling of guys in there because there is no Cam Akers. There is no alpha guy. So it'll be a good thing, though. Iron sharpens iron, a man once said.
That's right. That's right.
All right,
put that on a T-shirt.
Yeah. All right, we're done. We'll come back Monday, and I promise we'll get back to the questions that we didn't get to. I know we're doing a bad job of that, and by we, I mean myself, because I'm the one who pulls them up. So, folks who posted your questions, we'll get to them on Monday, promise. In the meantime, have a great weekend. He's Corey Maslon. Thanks for listening to Wake Up Warchant, presented by Zaxby's. Indescribably good.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.